Hi, my name is Philip Dingra, and this channel is to provide tips on self-improvement. The first episode we're going to talk about is about how to confront people. This is something that we encounter all the time, and learning how to effectively deal with an accusation that you're about to deliver can teach you a lot about how to improve the way you socialize. So the inspiration for this is a post on a website called ask.metafilter.com or ask.metafilter.com. And here's what the question says. What do I do about a neighbor who has looked through our mail? It says, last week my wife and I were out with no cars in the driveway, but my mother-in-law was at home, and she saw our next-door neighbor looking through our mail as he was walking his dog. I'd like to confront him without ruining our friendship. What do you suggest? And Metafilter is a great forum. They provided there was a lot of comments from users on how to deal with this. And I'm going to go through one of them in particular that I liked. It was from the user NDCent, who said this. There's a difference between being direct and being confrontational. Better to just ask the guy, but it also may help to give him a way out. Say something like, "Hi Jim, my mother-in-law tells me that she saw you opening our mailbox while walking your dog last Wednesday about 11 a.m. Were you returning some of our mail delivered to you by mistake?" And this suggestion got 4 favorites plus another one for me, so 5 favorites on this forum. So it's what the community thinks is a good suggestion for the person with the problem. What I like about that idea is it says try to give him a way out. This is a very important lesson. If and it's an idea I love. In other words, what that means to me is that anytime you have something that you're trying to accuse someone of, it's often very helpful to be willfully vague about it. For example, I was a designer at a video game company, and there were so many times when you're coding and you bump up against someone else's code, and you have to. It's like every hour you're put in a situation where you might have to point out someone else's mistakes. As a result, we used to handle this. We ended up having a lot of indirect comments, like, for example, we'd say, "Hey, what's this on this character's back?" Or how did fixing that bug go? Or we say something like, "Do you want me to tell quality assurance to double check that thing that you submitted?" And when you listen to these comments, they are in some way borderline passive aggressive, and that has a negative connotation. But this is so essential to smooth out communication. There's no way we would survive without this. As a side note, our design department was also very notorious for joking around at the office, and it's by telling jokes that we're able to give criticism to each other, but also telling people, "Hey, we're still with you. We still want to be friends." Otherwise, we would be at each other's throats. And so, if you're coming at anyone, with something you want to confront them about or accuse them about, it always helps to leave room for a charitable interpretation. Because what if you're wrong? Even if you have bulletproof evidence, even if you're 99.9% sure, still a chance you could be wrong. And so if you, let's say you're doing it to a loved one, you love that person, you want to give them some room for the possibility that there's a good explanation for this. I can think of an example. When I was in college, I had a friend of mine who was just like railing on one of our friends. He just kept talking trash, and this really pissed me off. And I thought about it for weeks, and and I wanted to accuse him, like, hey man, what gives? I don't like being friends with people who talk trash. Um, and so, but focusing on this idea, this is what I said. I said, you know, you were talking about our friend the other day. I was wondering if you could walk me through that, because part of me wanted to say that you were talking behind his back, but I don't I don't think you're that kind of person. So what's going on? As soon as I said that, this guy quickly backpedaled. He told me that him and our friend, our mutual friend, go way back, always with ups and downs, and that when he was talking about him, first of all, he was just venting because there was so much stress going on, but to treat it more like a familial critique, and that made me pause. That put me at ease. I hadn't considered that. I hadn't I thought here's this guy. He's just a trash talker, and he needs to stop. But then I didn't know anything about any of his background or context, and so that put me at ease. And yet at the same time, I feel like I got through to him. And so often we approach a situation in which we want to confront someone about something, and we come in there with our gun already drawn, and we're just thinking about the bullet. But we don't think about what could happen next after that. We have no idea. We've been living in our head with festering our accusation, but then we have no idea what the other person's going to say, and then how things will move after the fact. And so that's why it's important to, whenever you're confronting someone with something, tread lightly, be vague, leave lots of wiggle room. Try to think about charitable interpretations, and hopefully that will help smooth out your relationships a little bit better, keep you from saying things that you wish you didn't say, and preserve your friendships. This is Philip Dingra with Self-Programming. Thank you.